Seppuku. You've probably heard the word, right? And it usually conjures up images of defeat, of a pretty gruesome end. But what if I told you that for the samurai, this final act wasn't about failure at all? What if it was actually seen as the ultimate display of control, of honor, of strength? Okay, let's dive into this, because we're about to uncover the deep, powerful philosophy behind one of history's most misunderstood rituals.
Yeah, this quote right here, it really nails it. We're gonna have to completely reframe how we think about this. We have to step away from our modern ideas of suicide and try to get inside the head of a warrior whose entire life, their entire world, was built on a code of honor that was, and I mean this literally, more important than life itself.
So, first things first, we've got to kind of dismantle our own cultural baggage. We're going to explore how a choice that ends in death could possibly be seen not as a loss, but as a real, profound victory. Just look at this contrast on the screen. It's pretty stark. Where one culture sees despair, the samurai saw a way to take absolute control of their own fate. See, this wasn't about giving up or escaping. It was about taking radical responsibility. In that rigid feudal world, a samurai's honor was everything. It was their identity, their currency, their whole reason for being. So this wasn't suicide. It was a deliberate, conscious choice to restore that honor when it had been lost. But why the stomach, right? Why this specific, incredibly painful way? Well, the answer goes deep into ancient Japanese belief. The hara, or the stomach, was thought to be the literal home of your soul, the very center of your spirit and your true intentions. So by cutting it open, a samurai was, in a symbolic way, showing his soul to the world, proving that it was pure and sincere, even in his final moments. It was a physical display of an inner truth. And you have to understand, this was not some desperate, last-minute act. As we're about to see, seppuku was a solemn ceremony, every bit as structured and dignified as a wedding or a coronation. Let's just walk through these steps. First, the samurai would put on these pure white robes, the shiro shozoku, which symbolized the purity of the soul. Then there's a final cup of sake, a quiet moment of calm and composure. The act itself is the ultimate revealing of one's spirit, and it's followed by the swift, merciful help of a trusted friend, the second. Every single part of this was designed to maintain dignity. And this is absolutely crucial. This was almost never a solitary act. The Kaishakunin, or the second, had one of the most important jobs. This person was often the samurai's closest friend, and they were given a task that was both a terrible burden and, at the same time, the ultimate act of loyalty. I mean, can you even imagine the level of trust involved here? The Kaishakunin's job was to end the suffering instantly with one perfect cut. There was even a technique called Dakikubi, which required leaving a tiny strip of skin intact, all to prevent the dishonor of the head rolling away. This was an act of mercy that required almost supernatural skill and focus from a friend in what had to be the most difficult moment of their life. Now, to really truly understand the mindset that makes all this possible, we have to talk about one of the most legendary stories in all of Japanese history, the tale of the 47 Ronin. So the story kicks off with a profound injustice. Their lord, a man named Asano Naganori, was unfairly forced to commit seppuku. His loyal samurai, who were now masterless, or Ronin, they swore an oath. They would avenge their master, even though they knew it was a suicide mission. After a year of careful planning, they launch their attack, and they succeed. They get their revenge. But here's the part of the story that just gives you chills. They didn't run, they didn't go into hiding. They cleaned up, turned themselves into the authorities, and just calmly waited for the judgment they knew was coming. Their duty was done. And the order came down from the shogun himself. For their crime, they were sentenced to death. But, and this is a huge but, in recognition of their incredible loyalty, their perfect execution of their samurai duty, they weren't going to be executed like common criminals. No, they were granted the honor of committing seppuku. 47. Think about that number. Every single one of them made the same choice. They accepted their fate, not with fear, but with this quiet dignity of warriors who had lived and died by their code. They became heroes. Their names basically burned into the soul of Japan forever. And get this, if you visit Sengakuji Temple in Tokyo today, you can see their graves. And the air is just thick with the smoke from incense that people still burn for them.
It's this constant living reminder that for these men, loyalty and honor were forces way, way more powerful than the basic human need to just survive.
But the story doesn't just end with the act itself. In those final moments, there's another tradition, another part of the ritual that reveals a totally different side of the samurai. It shows us the soul of a poet.
It was called the Jisei, or the death poem. And what's so fascinating is that there was a rule. You are not supposed to write directly about death or violence. Instead, these hardened warriors would focus their last thoughts on the fleeting beauty of nature. You know, the moon, a falling leaf, cherry blossoms. Just listen to this poem. It's from Asano Naganori, the very master whose death the 47 Ronin avenged. I mean, picture it, a powerful warrior facing his end, and he's not shouting in defiance or writing about his regrets. He's comparing his own life to a flower petal on the wind. It's a breathtaking contrast, isn't it?
So what on earth does any of this have to do with us today? It might feel like some relic from a brutal bygone era, but the philosophy behind it, well, it holds a seriously powerful lesson for modern life. Now, this famous quote from the Hara-Kiri, a key text on Bushido, it's not about wanting to die. It's actually the opposite. The idea is that when you fully accept your own mortality, that your time is limited, you stop being afraid of all the small stuff. You're free from the fear of failure or embarrassment or what other people think. It frees you up to live every single moment with purpose and honor and real courage. And this is where it really hits home. The samurai code demanded what we might call extreme ownership. In a world where your reputation was literally all you had, failure meant you had to take responsibility in the most absolute way imaginable. It's a really sharp contrast to how easy it can be for us today to just blame someone else, right? To make an excuse, to prioritize our own comfort over just doing the right thing. And that's really the final question I want to leave you with. You don't have to be a samurai to live by a code. What would change? In your life, in your work, in your relationships? What would change if you faced your challenges with that same kind of radical responsibility? If we all chose honor over comfort and took complete ownership of our actions and our choices? That, right there, is the enduring lesson from the way of the samurai.